No, that's the name of it.
Welcome to the live broadcast of Silver Linings broadcast, formerly Tylee and JJ's Silver Linings. We love to honor them any chance we get. I'm here with nephew Adam. I'm Rex. And it's been a long time since we talked. These monthly things, Adam and I probably like that we don't have as much work to do, but we sure do miss y'all when we aren't on regularly. Adam, what's been going on with you before we get into the topic of our live here? Anything?
Well, I'm in my apartment now.
Mm-hmm.
It's behind me. So I got Zach came over and put all my stuff together since I can't put anything together. I owe him big time. And I've been working like crazy. Lots of pickleball things going on. And so yeah, I'm trying to catch up. That's all. Catch up on my life.
All right, very good. We appreciate those of you that are here. You notice the topic of this live and the thinking behind it. We're noticing, all of us included, Adam and I included, have been focused on Lori and what's she doing. She's being her own lawyer, and we're putting so much attention on that. It's not bad to do that, but I really like the idea of reminding myself that all of this is about getting justice in general for the victims, but specifically this trial for Charles. And that's what it's all about. I don't want to, while I'm fine talking about her and all the things that are going on, I don't want to get lost in that. I want to stay focused on the fact that we collectively lost Charles in this, and that's such a tragedy. Until Lori started gaslighting about him, everyone loved him, everyone in the family that got to know him. That's not true of some of Lori's previous relationships, but everyone loved Charles, didn't they, Adam?
Yeah, that Charles was different than all the other husbands that Lori married, for sure. And it just seems like I really thought Lori had finally found someone that's gonna be there with her, and Lori was married to Charles for how long? Like 13 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought that this was the one. And like you said, everybody loves Charles, and he's just missed. I remember Charles would send me so many texts, and they were all about, he was a very conservative person. So he would send me just funny memes and texts, and he was a Dallas Cowboy fan. And then he wasn't going to watch football anymore because somebody kneeled down and didn't do the flag. And so Charles went on a whole rant of and he was the biggest Cowboy fan because he's from Texas. And then now he's like, I'm not watching football anymore. I was like, what? You've been Dallas Cowboy this, and this. But yeah, so he's definitely was a loyal patriot before anything else. And so I miss, getting those texts and hearing him talk and, those kinds of things.
Now you're confusing people a little bit calling him a loyal patriot. You mean politically, he is a patriot.
Yes, politically.
Definitely a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, not a Patriots football, but a patriot person, yes.
Right. And Connie Gunn, you're answering Connie Gunn's initial question here, Adam. What was Charles like?
Yeah. And Charles was he was really into his business too. He's, always was working and providing and looking for ways to figure out and he was super generous. He was always giving, people loans and money or buying things or, come over and he took, Lori and everybody, Colby and Tylee. He spent his money on them. He spent a lot of his money on Lori defending against Joe when they were getting divorced with the kids. And so Charles spends thousands of dollars on lawyers just during that thing. And of course, Charles spends thousands of dollars on his own situation with his own kids, Zach and Cole, with his ex-wife. So they both had something important. Lori, at one point, I remember in their marriage, Lori and Charles were both fighting with lawyers, both for having custody and who gets this and all the different things with the kids. And speaking of last podcast, I said Zach. I was talking about Zach, who's Charles's son, and everybody thought I got people sending me messages saying that I was talking about my son Zach. So Charles has two boys, Cole and Zach. I was speaking about Cole and Zach. So I don't want people to get confused with my Zach and Charles's Zach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even during those times when they were both battling in the courts, you talked to Charles, and he was pretty even-keeled. Even if you brought up that subject, how's it going with your battle? He did not seem, at least to me, that, I'm not around all the time, but he is very even-keeled about it. And he'd talk about it, vent maybe a little bit, but he was not, I would call him, he was not openly vindictive or cruel or adversarial. He just told things the way it was. And, in his own way, according to his own opinion, he's very opinionated on things that Adam had said, but very good-natured about most all topics.
Another thing about Charles, I was thinking about this because I think Charles, when he turned 60, he was in good shape. And he eats a lot of steak, and he told me that he went to yoga in the morning, and he was telling me about yoga, and I was like, yoga, how are you? And you look at Charles's body, you're like, oh my gosh, you look like you work out and do no cardio, nothing, just yoga and eating steak, and he looked like $1 million. And I was like, you're lucky, you got good genetics.
Yeah, just good genes. That's well said. Ana Franco says, Charles appears to be a stand-up man. He appeared to sincerely love, adore, and regard Lori. So sad that his children were robbed of his presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, everyone around him was robbed of his presence. That's just sad. So talking about that, Stella Luna asked, when does jury selection begin? And it kicks off right away. That happens right away. So if the trial's scheduled, if it goes as scheduled, begins March 31st, they'll be starting jury selection March 31st. And that may take a while. You just don't know in a capital case how many, how long of a battle that's going to begin. So,
and just think about it, since Lori's going to be representing herself, Lori, has a say. I don't know how the process works, but again, she can pick 3 and the other team can pick 3 or something like that.
Well, it's just a matter of eliminating people. And yeah, they have a number that they can eliminate. So
yeah,
it's just going to boil down to that. So Joetta Bryant says, hi, handsome fellas. We appreciate that. Are you surprised at all that the judge denied her motion to dismiss? A for effort, I guess. I'm a little too cynical to give Lori an A for that effort, but nothing will surprise me. Of course, you're going to try to get them to dismiss. I mean, you kind of expect certain things, just like you'll expect Chad to appeal his death sentences. So I don't pay much attention to those, but she gave it a shot. Adam, do you have any thought on that one?
Yeah, I do. I'm like, if you're Lori, why does it matter? Why wouldn't you just, you're going to serve life sentences in Idaho anyways. So really, you getting this dismissed, you could just say, hey, I'm guilty. I don't have to go to trial. I have to deal with this court. I don't wonder why she doesn't just do that.
Yep, we don't know why Lori does what she does and doesn't do why she doesn't do it, do we?
Right.
We just have to guess at her motives. And that's why I think I speak for all of us. We all like to have a community where we can come here and speculate amongst friends, not have to do battle with each other, not worry about trolls jumping on us when we say something, or if we misspeak, or if we just have an unpopular opinion. We appreciate the community being able to do that, because what else do we have? All we can do is just speculate because we aren't inside their minds.
Rex, do you remember the early days of us doing this podcast? Like maybe the first 3 or 4 months that we did this podcast, there were weeks where we would just like, oh my gosh, people are tearing us up. We were like, who are these people? We had so many good supporters and everybody that, rallied together, but there are some people that were just terrorizing us. And I was like, what is this podcasting thing all about?
Well, a couple things different that I noticed. One is those were recorded podcasts. Think about how long has it been since we've done recorded podcasts and put it up?
A long time.
We've done it all live, which means we've had moderators like Cammie and Missy. Thank you, Cammie and Missy.
Yes.
That have our backs, and a lot of times we don't see if there are trolls saying bad things about us. Unless they're in the comments, but most of the trolls went away. And so now it's such a loving, enjoyable community. I think any trolls that come here kind of feel out of place and don't stick around very long. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like differing opinions. I personally love differing opinions. I just don't like people being rude.
Somebody's saying that I'm echoing. Am I echoing?
I don't catch it, but
Lindsay keeps on sending, Adam, you're echoing. It's killing me.
That's just.
I think my apartment's. Maybe it's the room.
Okay, we can blame that, or we can blame Lindsay. Either one. Lindsay's too good of a.
Everybody else is like, no, he's echoing.
Blame anything for. Let's see what Lady Tina Marie says. Poor Charles. He kept trying to get law enforcement to listen to him, to no avail. Coming from domestic violence when I was younger, I can't even imagine. First of all, Lady Tina Marie, sorry that you had to deal with that. And yeah, how frustrating must it have been? You could tell his frustration on the body cam, where we all get that message from. They tried to convince law enforcement, but what can you do? He was in a no-win situation that law enforcement couldn't do anything about it. And he was just stuck. That was just a horrible, horrible situation. And kind of an illustration of that saying, you don't have to die to go to hell. He was in hell trying to get that all figured out. And no one knows that better than Adam, who was one of his few confidants at that time.
Yeah. The other thing too, is the police, they're in a situation where they got to obey the law. What are they going to do? Mm-hmm. Lori hadn't done anything. They go investigate her. He has her psych eval. She passed that. Like, I started thinking about that. It's like, we got to just change the system or change something. Because I know there's people out there that have, they have, what's it called when you get a thing on somebody where they can't come see you? My brain's going.
Restraining order.
Yeah, restraining order. So when you get a restraining order, there's people that have a restraining order, but somehow get into the person's house that they have a restraining order and kill them. So I don't know how we protect people that are going to the police saying, something really crazy is going on. There's got to be something that we can change in the law to where these people can be detained for 48 hours or something. And
well, let's remember the other side to that. I know personally people who, one person gets a restraining order out of spite.
Oh.
And uses it as a weapon against the other person who's done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's such a tough situation. You just can't count on, you can count on the law when it fits in the parameters of the law, but a restraining order is a piece of paper. It's not going to stop someone that's evil with evil intent of doing what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
that's a good point.
Terrible situation. Let's see what Goga says. I wonder how you two are doing because you always look so strong and adequate. Please stay strong and cool. Much regards and respect from Switzerland. Very good.
Oh,
Goga, thank you for the kind words, first of all. Those are kind words. And, of course, when we're on the podcast, we're in a happy place with good people. But, Adam and I want to say this because we attribute so much of this to y'all collectively, all y'all. We've done a lot of healing, and that strengthens you. I have my own definition of healing, as everyone needs to have for themselves. And we have come a long way, especially from where we started. And thank y'all for that, because you've been a big part of it.
I'm gonna test mine to vitamins and supplements, probably 30 pills every morning.
And Crush, your sponsor, you have to get them in here, Adam.
Yes, Crush.
Okay, how about cold plunges, Adam?
I bought a new cold plunge because when I moved, my old cold plunge got bent and then it deflated. So I bought another one on Amazon. It's sitting out there. I need to go buy a bunch of ice. I'm going to go buy probably 8 bags, 16-pound bags of ice, and you put it in, put some water in it, and then you're cold plunging every day. So
wait a minute. Your cold plunge is sitting out there in the cold, and you haven't been using it?
No, I've been in the hot tub here. So I've been opposite.
I'm converting you.
Yeah, I know. Rex's hot tub was great when I lived in St. George. I just called me like, hey, I'm coming over to get in the hot tub. Okay, we're not home. We just go in the backyard and get in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, Goga did say stay strong and cool. So Adam, you need to get back.
Well, I am going to get back to cold plunging. I just now got it all this week. So I'm going back to it.
Okay. Well, eat the food, Tina. There's a story behind that name. We're sure we don't know the story.
I do know the story.
Do you do?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So have you ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
Okay. And Tina is the llama. Eat the food, Tina. And they're feeding Tina.
Okay.
At least I think I'm right. I may be wrong, but I think that's what I think it means.
Because there is a picture of a llama. So.
So then that's what it is. I was right.
Very good. Very good. Eat the food. Tina says, so we know how do we know how Charles's sons are doing? I do not, Adam. Do we have any? We don't have any.
No connection at all. They've been pretty quiet through this whole thing. So I don't know what's going on with Cole and Zach. I have no idea. I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard about them. I've heard there was some controversy stuff with them and Kay, but that's all I've heard. I don't know anything else.
And that as long as that subject has come up, we don't have any connection now with that side of the family. And that's one thing I'm looking forward to with the trial, seeing Kay and Larry, putting my arms around them, thanking them once again, as I do every time I see them, for getting the ball rolling on the investigation, for being the face of the the united collective family, not just family members, but people that have emotionally adopted Tylee and JJ and Charles. So it'd be good to see them again, but we don't hang out. We don't talk a lot in between trials. So at least that will be one of the silver linings of the trials starting up again.
Right.
And we'll get maybe some more information on that. Oh, this is a very loving thought from Kelly. Comforting knowing Tylee and JJ are both with Charles, safe now. Yep.
I think about that all the time. Like, what is it like in the next life? Like when you go over there, where's Charles? Where's Alex? Where are the kids? Is there any like, do they talk? Are they in completely different places? I just have so many questions about all of that, but I am glad that Charles gets to be with Tylee and JJ until everybody else gets up there or down there or wherever it is.
I think in the case of those three, we're hoping it's up there, but
yeah, I hope so.
We really don't know how that works, do we?
No.
I mean, we all have our own beliefs, and some people believe there isn't anything after this life.
Right.
But we'll all find out, won't we?
Yeah.
SMO Spider says the audio has feedback on Adam's side. So I guess that's he's SMO Spider's siding with Lindsay on your echo there. I don't know how to. I don't hear that feedback, so I don't know if it's everyone or how that works. So,
I'll just turn it on mute and then you guys talk. Here we go. And action.
Sorry, we don't know how to fix that. We aren't in a podcast studio with Sean. We miss Sean all the time.
I do miss Sean. It was so great when we first started this podcast. We would just stroll into St. George, go into the podcasting, and Sean did everything. Rex and I just sat there and he did everything. We're like, this is amazing.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Lady Tina Marie says, I'm so glad y'all started this podcast. The world has become so hateful. I'm so happy to be in this community. You know, the world may have been like that before, but it certainly has been tough being in a very divisive political year, at least here in the United States. I know in Canada, that's divisiveness is going on also. I heard a good suggestion from someone along those lines last week. They said, just don't get on the internet. If you don't get on the internet and you live your normal life, and I thought that's true in my world. I go out there and people have different political views, different views on the issues of the day. They aren't fighting other people about them. Your friends happy. I mean, in our friend group, Adam, you know our friend group, there are people all over the political spectrum just in that little group.
Yeah.
We don't care. We don't sit around and badmouth each other because of our politics.
Yeah.
And, boy, that all comes from the internet. So there's a technique for all of us that want a little more peace.
Just don't take my TikTok away from me for 16 hours again.
Was that hard on you, Adam?
Actually, I didn't miss it, but I did go right back on. You know, you can sell your phone now for like $10,000 if it's got TikTok on it.
Wow.
Because the new phones don't have it, the TikTok app. And I wouldn't sell my phone. I need my TikTok.
Okay. Well, Adam, I put this one up there just so we can remind people that some things we don't know. But the question from Happy Camper is, and thank you for the question, Happy Camper. It's a valid question. But does Colby still talk to your parents, Adam?
I'm not sure what Colby's up to be honest with you. He's got a new baby and he's got a podcast. I know he's super busy. I'm not sure who's he communicating with, who he's not communicating with. I wish I had an answer for you, but I honestly don't know who's he talking to or not talking to.
And that answers Kelly's question also very, very similar of if you have a relationship with him. The fact that we don't, well, first of all, I've never been in the same place as Colby, so I've never had a close relationship with him. I love him whenever we see him. I love spending time with him, but even Adam being in the same town, you just don't hang out with everyone that's in the family, everyone you love. You know, you just enjoy the time when you get to be with them. So
heck, there's times where Rex comes to town and I don't even get a chance to see him.
That's right. I wasn't here this weekend, by the way, Adam. I didn't.
I know. I'm glad because if you were, I would be ticked.
Yeah, Adam and I would have been doing the podcast together in this studio right now. Yeah. So, yeah.
Then you get double echo. You get mine and his.
Yeah. So might be there next week. We'll see how it goes after I come back from my trip from Dallas. Oh, yes. We forgot about this last week. In fact, we didn't see it last week. But Missy's reminding us we want to give a shout out, a big thank you to our good friend, Dr. Vonda Kaye. Dr. Vonda Kaye, I hope we get to meet you in person sometime. She gave Silver Lining Podcast a super chat last live and was acknowledged. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And it goes to our non-profit account, and and foundations.
Did we ever find out what kind of doctor Dr. Vonda Kaye is?
We did. Yeah, we had a talk about it, and it's so the terminology was so complex.
Yeah,
it just
we
boggled
couldn't figure it out.
So yeah, so we just call her a good friend and not try to remember the big words that come along with her doctorship.
Yeah,
but it was very impressive. Frances Rose Carmel, Carmel, and I pray for all and your families. Pray for you all and your families. Have that as well. Okay. Now I'll read the sentence all as one. And I pray you and all your families have that as well. I also mourn for both you gentlemen who witnessed such an evil presence. So very sorry. Thank you, Francis. That's a very, very loving thought. And when you think about it, this is evil incarnate. Incarnate meaning in a body. And what we're all witnessing, of course, Adam was very close. I was somewhat close. And, the further away you get, the less close. But this is true evil. There's just, I've sat and tried to imagine sometimes if this could be more evil. And I hope not. And I don't know how it could be. As far as what Chad and Lori have done and Alex was involved with, etc. So, yeah, I'm so very sorry that we all have experienced it.
Yeah, I thank everybody for all the prayers. I mean, I can't even tell you how many people say that they pray for me or pray for the family, or it's overwhelming that it's like, I thank everybody who's taken time out of their life to, pray for us or our family, just because. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy for a long time, and I think writing the book that we wrote and doing this podcast has definitely helped me go through some of the healing that I need. Again, Rex has a definition of what healing means to him. I don't think I even have a definition of what healing means to me. So, and I don't know if I ever will. My whole thing is like, I don't know if I've talked about this before, if I'm ever going to be the person that I was before, but I don't think I'm ever going to be that person. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your concerns. All those things. It means a lot to us. It really does.
It definitely does. Ana Franco says, Adam, there are many psychic mediums on YouTube who do take the time to share glimpses of what they see in the next realm. Julie Ryan has a book called Angelic Attendants available on our website free.
All right, Ana Franco, tell us a little bit more about that. What did you, when you watched the podcast, or it's not a podcast, what is the YouTube? A YouTube video?
That's what
tell us what kind of things that she saw. Because you hear people near-death experiences, except for Lori, who made hers up on the spot in court. Other than that, most people have probably a pretty good near-death experience that they've had.
And see, this is why I think, just to share, because Adam, you've shared this before, you and I are both a little skeptical when you talk about psychics. Now, I'm not skeptical about people having a psychic ability. I have personally interacted with a lot of people, not just one or two, a lot of people in my life that have psychic abilities. And I believe in, that power. I believe some people are good, some of them not so good. So when I say we're a little cynical of it, it's because I think all of us have experiences of psychic people who aren't what they said they are. You could put Chad and Lori in the realm of psychics, saying Chad at least saying he can see beyond the veil and knows what's coming and is talking to Jesus and whomever there. Of course, Lori's doing the same thing.
Well, Lori's talking to Moroni.
Yeah, well, Moroni and who knows whoever else.
Right.
Well, and her dear friend Tammy and, all that she said. So that's all the same energy, and it's all the same potential for misinterpretation, misuse, positive use. I'm not saying there's nothing positive in it, but I'm guarded. Guarded is a better word than cynical. I'm very guarded about from my experience with them.
Well, also with psychics and mediums, I used to have a psychic on my show, on my radio show, Kim Allen, the love psychic. And she would just say things. And then even I don't know if you guys know the Long Island medium. She used to have a show on TLC or one of those shows. And we had her on the show. And then we actually went to her show and she came to Wichita. And, a lot of that stuff was kind of, wacky to me. But there was this one psychic that my ex-wife, Nicole, we went to some place and she sat down and this psychic told her personal things about her life and her mom that nobody else would ever know. So that kind of freaked me out a little bit. That was like, well, there's no way she would know that unless. So there's been a few things that psychics maybe, if it's something personal or something that nobody else knows that only I would know, then I would be like, okay, you got something. But for the most of it, the psychics that I've dealt with on the radio and stuff, it's all pretty hokey pokey. Is that a word? Hokey pokey? No, that's a.
Well, the hokey pokey is a dance. Focus, I think, is what you're going for. But
so it's something hokey. Is it maybe just hokey? There's no pokey after it. Yeah. That's hokey. I don't know what word that is. I've never used it before, so I don't know where it even came from.
So let's pay tribute again to Colby here.
Okay.
Launching off a Stella Luna's tribute to Colby. I've watched Colby's podcast. He's such a wise and thoughtful young man. I have a few thoughts with that. First of all, this is why I'm real comfortable that Adam and I have slowed down the podcast to once a month in between trial. Because if you want a family perspective, Colby is a great family perspective. No one's closer to the whole situation than Colby. And I love recommending him and supporting in any way I can. He doesn't ask for our support, so I don't know what we can do. But I love honoring him at least and what he's doing, how he's on a healing path, as he has said. What's your thought on that, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I wish Colby the best. I love Colby. Basically was Colby's dad growing up, helping him with all the things that he needed help with that before Lori met Charles. But he's got 3 kids, and he's working and doing this podcast, and he's got a family, and he's busy, and he's young. Man, when I was young and busy, I was a radio DJ in New York City. I didn't have time for anybody. I didn't call my parents like once every 5 months or something like that. Who knows?
Never called your favorite uncle.
No, I never. I was so involved in my life. And I think when you're in your 20s, you're so involved in your life. You're just learning things and doing things. And I'm sure when Colby's ready to communicate with me or with anybody else in their family, he'll just reach out. And so I wish nothing but the best for Colby. He's been through the most of anybody, so my heart goes out to him for sure.
Definitely. That Judy House just says, I like hearing about Charles. Me too, Judy. I don't know that we can talk about him too much, and this trial is going to be a sad reminder that that we miss him.
Yeah. I mean, we're all going to have a different perspective on what happened to Charles when he went to go pick up JJ that day. I mean, everybody has a different story or a different theory or whatever it is.
Yeah. We just hope more truth comes out and we find out more because there are so many questions. Kelly asked, Adam, would you go see Lori if she asked to see you?
When we first started this podcast and people were asking me that question, I was like, no, I'm never going to do that. But now I'm just at a point now where I feel like I could go sit down in front of her and just from my own eyes and my own ears, have a conversation with her so I can hear and feel and see and what is going on with her. So yes, I think now would be the time. Like You asked me this a year ago. It was a definite no. But I think I'm coming around more like that.
Okay. So would you go a step further and request to see her?
No.
Okay. A hard no on that one.
I'm not going to request to go see her, but if she sent something out to see me, I would be like, oh, I'm just interested in what she has to say to me.
Well, if you go to the trial, you'll see her. I don't know how big the courtroom will be, but it's.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to the court. I'm not going to the trial unless I have to go. So, yeah, I probably won't see her. Yeah.
If you have to go, you might be talking with her.
Yeah. Again, if she's the attorney, she might ask me questions. And then I'll ask her a question, and the judge will probably kick me out.
You hope.
They're like, oh, you're not allowed to ask the lawyer's question.
Ana Franco says, I agree. Evil does take people over, evidenced by actions, not just by verbal threats. Yep. Well, Lori is our prime example of that.
Yeah.
But some of the people I know that I do believe have psychic abilities. Something I noticed, and this is a small sample size, I'm not saying it always happens, but some people that have those abilities, when they try to monetize them, make some money because they're spending so much time, people want to talk to them, want to hear what the other side's saying to them. When they try to monetize it, it takes a toll. Things don't work as well for them. At least in my little limited experience, and I don't know if they lose it or that they just have to put more into it than is there. I don't know how to explain it, but something I've noticed with that. Elizabeth Jones says, hello, Rex and Adam from Scotland, and thank you for your podcast. Well, you're certainly welcome, and hello to you, Elizabeth. Good to hear from anyone, anywhere they are, but of course, hearing from overseas, Scotland, Jill, I think, is down in Australia. We've heard Switzerland today. We've had a person in the past, from Israel, and we haven't heard from her for a while, which of course scares you when, you're hearing from someone in a war zone and you don't hear from them. So
yeah, I bought a world map. I want to put it up so I can know where everybody is when they send their messages in from where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Rex and I at some point are going to go on a world tour where we go to all the countries in the world and do this podcast live from each continent.
We are?
Yeah. You didn't get the memo?
Continents I could see, all the countries. There are a lot of countries out there.
Well, just the ones that will listen to our podcast. I think there's only like 30.
Okay, so now we're down to one or two.
We're down to 30.
Okay, Jennifer Bradley says, Lori puts so much into herself. How the HE double hockey sticks did she find? I can read that real easily because I've used that saying myself. How in the HE double hockey sticks does she find herself attracted physically to Daybell? Was she that insecure, Adam?
I don't think she was attracted to Chad physically. I really feel like Will, her second husband, was a good-looking guy. Joe, I guess an opinion of what people think what Joe is good looking or not. Charles was pretty good looking.
When Lori met him and
yeah,
married to him, he's an attractive guy.
Yeah. So, but Chad, obviously, we all agree that Chad is not an attractive human being. So Lori was definitely not attracted to him physically, mentally or spiritually. I think Chad wooed her like she would, like me and Rex and I've talked about this. This is like gas being poured on a fire. And Chad caught Lori at the right time, at the right place. Chad used the same pickup lines on lots of other women that all declined going with him, or
not all declined.
Well, yeah, some he wooed some other girls into bed.
Julie Rose said it worked on her.
Yeah. So he has a way, I think, for women that were wanting something more spiritually or mentally, whatever that was missing. Lori, obviously, he's definitely not Lori's physical type. So If you just go on physical, it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know how she kissed him, to be honest with you. But
don't want to think about it,
or think about it, because we heard some of those dialogues between those two.
But
it definitely was spiritually. And she probably got into the mind of this body doesn't matter in this world. It's the next world and the next life, and all these other things matter. And he got her to end up believing all these things. So he got her. And, that's what he wanted, somebody who looked like Lori. And he got her with the way he talked. So, or what he promised her, or whatever it was. But yeah, physically, definitely not attracted to him.
Yeah, and most people that talk about the differences between men and women address that. The women aren't always attracted, physically like men are. And thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all have seen Lisa, and so I'm a beneficiary of that that particular dynamic.
Well, you're no Chad Rex.
Well, thank you. But that's a pretty low bar. That's pretty faint praise there, but I'll take it.
Give yourself some credit, Rex.
I'll give myself that much credit.
Thank you.
So Goga says 16 pills, Adam. Ha ha ha! That's quite the achievement. I guess you'll be done by evening. Anyway, thank you both so much for your responses. You really saved my evening. Big hugs to you guys. Boy, that must have been a pretty bad evening the way it was going there, Goga.
If we're saving your Saturday night with this nonsense, yes, that's where I'm happy to do it. It's not just 16 pills. We're talking about, I got beetroot. There's a powder you got to put in water and stir the beetroot. There's all kinds of supplements. It's a huge thing. And it's a lot of vitamins and supplements. Not all pills, though. There's some that you have to mix in water and drink.
Very good. So Lady Tina Marie's back. Colby does seem like a wonderful young man. He is. And Tylee would have been also. It's mind-boggling to see Lori was doing a great job. And let me parenthetically insert there, doing a great job with JJ and his autism and working with him and reading. His progress was remarkable. And back to the quote, the statement from Lady Tina Marie. What happened? I know we'll never know, though. Yep, we don't know what happened. I attribute it to Lori just choosing evil. I don't attribute it to an external force. I attribute it to her internal decisions. We're all responsible for our decisions. We all stop ourselves before we turn to that much evil. And that's what I personally attribute it to, but I don't have the answers. That works for my thought. Adam, anything else to add on that?
No, I think everybody has their own opinion on that, and how that's going down. But again, Colby, yeah, he's lost so much. So we'll just hope that everything's okay with him.
Mm-hmm. Love to see this name and very tiny thumbnail photo of KCL. Hi, Adam and Rex and Optimus. Great to see you all. Same to you, KCL, and would say that with many of you that we've gotten to know.
Yes. Thank you guys for being part of the Optimist and being part of the Silver Lining podcast and supporting us and helping us and commenting and letting us, be part of your life. And thank also all the people that's come on our podcast and shared your life stories with us too. We haven't done that in a while, where we would just put, some of you guys on and let you guys tell us your stories. And oh man, that's been really helpful for me to hear your situations and how strong all you guys are and the things that you've been through. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we love when we have the opportunity to meet people personally. That's just a highlight for us, and we've had a few opportunities like that, and wish we had more. KCL, who didn't come when we were in Salt Lake, but would have loved to have met I just say that because she's up there, but obviously she's a great friend. And remember the biographies she did on each of us, Adam?
Oh my gosh, the one she did on me was amazing. I think I used it for a job interview. I think I stole it. Whatever she wrote about it, I think I stole it and gave it to somebody. I said, "Oh, this is you want to know about me? Take this clip that she wrote about me."
Yeah, and I do get to see, and I love this. I get to see the person who gave us the inspiration for calling this Silver Linings. Jill is my spin instructor. So I get to see her once a week when I'm in town, and it's just a joy to see her. We always exchange something, even if it's briefly about the podcast or the community or something. And it's like that with all y'all. When we get to do this monthly, it's good to see the familiar names. Of course, we welcome and we want to get to know the people that are here maybe for the first time or that we haven't recognized their names a lot. We just love it all. We love being involved in this community. Thank you. Thank you all. Monofranco, another good friend, says, remember, psychics are telepathically translating on our behalf. If they are under the weather or exhausted, their sessions will be impaired. Yeah, and from what I understand, Monofranco, it's a big toll to do that work. It's a big physical toll on the psychics, the people that do it. Mediums, psychics, whichever, whatever.
I remember watching Ghost when that person went through Whoopi Goldberg. She was exhausted.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. I don't know that that's authentic, but a good representation of it.
But that's what came to my mind when you're talking about psychics that have a physical something going through them.
Yeah, that's positive. Bayou B. Off topic. Okay, we get off topic time. Oh, Rex, as a pilot, this one's for me. What was your observation of the crash the other day? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
That is so heartbreaking, tragic. That really affected me probably as much as anything since the, trials before. Don't all of our hearts just break for that situation? And it was inevitable that it would happen. So I've tried to block it out, but, right away, both political sides, jump on it both ways. To me, that just dishonors the people who tragically lost people who died and then family members who lost people to even think about politics or try to take advantage of a situation like that. But
how could something like that happen is I think what she wants to ask. A helicopter and a plane, how does that happen?
Yeah, and clearly I don't know how it happened, but I can understand flying at night in a very busy place. Night flyings, I don't think they had night vision on. Probably good in that situation, but when you're looking at lights and think of where they are and how many lights there are. And they ask the helicopter pilot, now you're moving, you're looking all over. They call out traffic, say, do you have that in sight? All of us that have been there have looked out and thought we had something in sight and said, yeah, Roger, whatever terminology we use on that. And think we have it in sight, and we don't. It's just not as simple as it sounds.
Yeah.
You think, hey, big moving airplane with lights on. Okay, but what angle are you at? What altitude are you at? What altitude are they at? Mm-hmm. It's just
it's terrible.
It's just tragic. It's just tragedy. The fact that they need to investigate and blame someone is, there are reasons behind that, but for heaven's sakes, think of the poor people that lost their lives and their families.
Oh, it's so
Let's
sad.
just deal with that tragedy and let us process that. Let's not throw politics or the blame game, of who was at fault or who did it. They'll do an investigation. It is a very thorough investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's just sickeningly tragic. I just physically have a reaction to it. But thank you for asking, Bayou B, so I can vent that frustration at everything that goes along around it.
See, that's therapy for Rex. That's a good question for giving
It
him
is
some therapy.
for me. I've lost friends that, in the Air Force to tragic accidents. And it happens, 1 minute they're there and the next minute they're gone.
That's
It
crazy.
takes time to sort through that. Good grief. Let's focus on that for a while, those poor people, and send our energy to them, not to other people that want to make something else of the tragedy. I know our own Kimberly, her office was close by apparently, and her company is involved somehow with that. And, it affects Kimberly too. In a more personal way. Of course, the closest you are to it, just like our situation, maybe the more it affects you. But thanks for asking about that, Bayou B. Linda Bailey asks, Adam, how often do you talk to your parents and how are they doing?
We see each other maybe once a week or something like that, and they seem to be doing better. I think everybody seemed to do a little bit better, but again, it's a very difficult thing to go through. And but yeah, I think everybody's trying to move forward.
Yeah, and I got to see him when I was there. What was that? 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Glad to see him. I don't get to see him as often as Adam, but I'm glad we can still talk. We don't see things the same necessarily, but I'm glad Janice and Barry are of the mindset like we are to some degree. We see things differently, but that doesn't mean we can't have a relationship and can't talk and we can have difficult conversations too. So I'm very glad for that because Janice and I have been close my whole life.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that. And thanks for asking, Linda Bailey, and for being part of it. Elizabeth Jones says, is it possible to get a copy of our books sent to Scotland? And if you haven't, Elizabeth, you may have, I looked at the mail the other day, just real quickly. If you haven't sent your address to ship it to, send us and I'll gladly send you one. I've got a few right here. I'll be glad to send you one.
Oh, I found a bunch of books too when I moved, and I looked through a box. I was like, I have like 6 or 7 books. Was I supposed to do something with them?
No, that's so you could have them to give out in case someone like Elizabeth asked for a book.
Oh, I think I dropped the ball in something. I think I was supposed to sign and mail them back. I don't know if we know what we had with those books.
You probably were. Adam and I, as with all things monetizing, we suck at promotion in that regard. So
it's a good way of putting it. We suck at it.
Yeah, well, we do. Let's call it like it is.
Being honest.
Okay. And look at how kind this is, Dr. Vonda Kaye, who gave us a super sticker. That means a donation last time, and we didn't see it. She gives us another one this time to say no worries. Oh. I love it here. But she reminded us what we were talking about since we were talking about her.
Yeah, what kind of doctor is she?
I have an EDD and a PhD. So an EDD is in education. PhD can be in anything. Hers is in health science. I teach pharmacological, but there's a fancy name for it, and she's sparing us the fancy name. Pharmacology and research, how meds affect learning and the brain. I also travel and write occasionally. I also travel and write and occasionally go to Tucson.
Oh, let's meet up.
Yeah, Tucson's right there. Adam's good friend is down in Tucson.
I go see Eric. I was supposed to go this weekend. I see Eric all the time. I love Tucson. I used to live there and do the radio there. So yeah, next time you go to Tucson, let us know.
She says if I go ag, we'll meet. I don't know what ag is, probably a mistype, so we'll probably see a correction on that one, or an explanation at least.
Yeah.
Of course, with her vocabulary and fancy words, that might mean something, and I don't even know that. It's only a 2-letter word.
But you got a PhD. Why can't we call you Dr. Rex?
I have a doctorate. I don't have a PhD.
Oh,
doctorate.
So we can't call you Dr. Rex. I want to change.
Well, you can. I tried that when I was dating, saying it's okay, I'm a doctor, and it never worked. So I don't know why I got a.
No more Uncle Rex. You are Dr. Rex from this point forward.
Yeah, I got a doctorate, but doctorate is more a practical approach. PhD is more research, theory and research. Okay, typically. is the distinction between the two.
Nice.
Um,
Thank you, Dr. Vonda Kaye.
yeah,
Appreciate you.
thank you very much for that donation, especially. Kelly says, I wonder if Chad's kids will ever hold Chad and Lori accountable. Since we know nothing about them and all of it would be speculation on our part, I wonder too.
I only know the one brother that I met. He obviously, him and his wife know that Chad, was a bad guy. But other than that, I don't know anything else about their family.
Yeah, Matt and Heather, and we still look forward to. Let's put it out there, Adam. Who knows how word can get to them? We would still love to spend time with them. They mentioned that while we were up there and met them. Two wonderful people.
Yeah.
We had a few minutes with them. Matt and Adam would love to talk, and there are few other people in this world that have experienced what they personally have experienced. I'd love to be a fly on that wall if you two could get together.
Well, if we get together, we'll do it on the podcast so everybody can be a fly on the wall.
Well, let's ask them if they'd be willing to come on the podcast.
Yeah, we have a lot in common. Be
I
honest.
wonder why we haven't done that.
Well, because we suck at this. That's why we suck at this.
We suck at promoting. Okay, we can blame Lindsay for that. She left us. We don't know how to call people.
Yeah.
Okay, but we do recommend Lindsay and Kimberly's Jury Duty podcasts, and I like to get that plug in every chance I get.
I was on an episode, and you were on an episode. How many episodes do they have?
Well, you'd have to look and see what the latest is, because both of those were a little while ago. I know they're laying low while Kimberly's involved with this terrible tragedy.
She's got her own thing she's going with.
Yeah. Judy Duke, did you see the interview with Cops and Melanie Gibbs? She said that Lori told her she took the phone from the car when she brought JJ out, that Charles didn't leave it in the house. Did you hear that interview?
I did not hear that interview, but that story, I've heard 5 different stories about what happened the day Charles died, and they all contradict each other. So I don't know. I wish that somehow we would just get the exact truth of what exactly happened when Charles went there. And I don't know if we're ever going to find that, because Lori's the only one that's alive that knows.
Yep, that's true. But yeah, plenty of stories. I mean, I think by the 4th day after Charles was killed, I had heard at least 3-4 different accounts, probably 5, of what went down. It's just, we're never going to know. I don't.
No.
And even if we heard it from Lori, it's not like she has a lot of credibility with very many of us.
Yeah. I mean, even if Lori told us what happened, do we still even believe it? Whatever she says, you just can't. That's the problem. She may be telling the truth, and we're like, liar.
Yeah. And speaking of not knowing, Jill Raby says, how come Adam hasn't been subpoenaed? We don't know.
Maybe I don't have anything to. Maybe there's nothing that I can do to help the prosecution with their case.
He could be subpoenaed literally the day before, during the trial. So the fact that he hasn't been subpoenaed at any point in time other than the end of the trial doesn't mean he won't be.
I think when Summer went to Idaho, I don't think she knew until like the day before, or maybe three days or a week before, and then they flew her out to be there. But it wasn't something that she was waiting to go do, I don't think. I could be completely wrong, but yeah, who knows?
So Kelly asks, do you think they would have continued to kill people? And was it only people on Lori's side that were deemed dark and marked? No one on Chad's side was. I wonder if Lori thought about this. I doubt if she categorized who it was. My personal opinion is, I think anytime they had a chance for financial gain or someone getting in their way, sex or power, someone getting in their way like Adam, I don't think they would have hesitated to continue killing. What do you think, Adam?
Wait, I wasn't money. Was I sex or power? Why would they kill? Why were they trying to kill me?
Sex. I think it was.
Why was I on the list to get killed? I still don't understand that.
Well, you were conspiring with Charles.
Oh, but did they ever say that I was like a demon, or did they ever say that I was a zombie? Did I make it to zombie status?
You did.
Because Lori said
You
brothers
don't
a
remember
Z.
the text?
Yeah, Lori said brothers a Z.
Bad news about our bro. What?
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
So you were a zombie.
So wow, I might. Who knows? Yeah. So apparently they were going to continue to kill people if they got away with it.
Yeah.
No financial gain on me though. They wouldn't get any financial gain. That's why I always thought, they. I just didn't understand all the different things because there's so many layers. It's not just about money. It's not just about one thing. Like Rex says, there's like 4 or 5 different things for this whole thing to go down.
They were making it up as they went.
Right.
And Lori, they are still making it up, as evidence from Lori talking with Colby and saying a lot of different crap. And Lori will continue to make up whatever. And she will continue, if he gets a chance to speak to anyone, continue to make crap up that fits in the situation because they are evil. That's what evil people do.
Yeah.
Good question, Darlene. Did the traveling book make it back? If you know anything,
we suck at this. We suck at this. We have no idea.
Lindsay, if you know anything about that, let us know if you would. Now we're at an hour, but we only have a couple more starred items. Let's see if we can get these in, Adam. I don't have to rush off right now. Do you?
No, I don't either.
Okay.
But the traveling book, where did it? Do we even know where the traveling book went? Like all over the world and came back? People signed it?
Lindsay was tracking that. So that's why I said, Lindsay, let us know. We don't know, Adam. You and I don't know.
If you're in the chat, Lindsay will give everybody the update on that.
Harriet Bass says, I'm curious if the prosecutors will be able to bring up that she's been convicted of killing her children. Yeah, I don't know if they will. That's a judge decision. So, to make that part of the trial if the judge will allow it. Good question, Jennifer Bradley. Question to you, strong men. I think she means us. How does one woman get engaged / married 5 times? What to a man is attracted to that? I didn't get married till I was 36 and it didn't work. I don't know that that's necessarily attractive. So obviously she's talking about Lori, and the 5th man, we've talked at length about what he finds.
Well, Charles was infatuated with Lori when he met her. She was younger, she was pretty. He to him, like a trophy wife, he was all in on it. So no matter what her past was, Charles was like bypassed all of that, at least at the time. Because I remember going on a double date with my ex and Lori and Charles. And Charles has pulled me aside and he goes, your sister has me spinning. So he's just infatuated. Guys get infatuated. I don't know if sometimes they think things through all the way. But that's my explanation of what you were saying. How could Charles marry Lori after knowing she was married to all these guys? I think that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
And I may be wrong, but that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for that question. Jennifer says question. Oh, wait. Oh, that's it. Series 6, that didn't work. I'm sorry it didn't work, Jennifer. That's what I wanted to say about that one.
Rex and I both have been divorced, so we understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've been divorced twice as many times as you have.
Does Lisa know this? Why would she marry you?
Well, that is the question everybody asks all the time. But Lisa has her own past. So Kathy Reeves says, I think the defense attorney isn't interested in Adam being at the trial. Well, the defense attorney is Lori. So
yeah, she probably definitely doesn't want me there.
She probably isn't. He probably won't be called as a witness for Lori.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you imagine if Lori did try to call me as a witness? Tell them what a good person I am.
Well, you could tell them what a good person she was for, however many years, 40 years or something.
Yeah, if that's what her defense is.
Okay. So we have some more comments here. We're over time, but let's get to what we can. Ottawa Andy Joining late, so not sure if you've addressed this, but is it true Charles was paying for the house Lori was earning while he was killed? Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lori doesn't have. How does Lori have any money?
Yeah. Leah Gannon, do you think Lori will find help while she is serving her sentence? If you're talking about the help for her mental health that would take her out of her delusion, I don't think she'll find that because I don't think that exists in this world. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I don't think she doesn't think anything's wrong with her. She thinks it's between her and Jesus. People don't matter.
Well, it is between her and Jesus. I would agree with that, but I don't think.
I think in her mind, that's the only thing that really matters is the next life. This life doesn't count. That's what she convinced Alex and other people to think.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Chad.
Eat the Food Tina says, speaking of books, it's disgusting that Chad's books can still be purchased online.
Oh. Did people buy Chad's book after this thing became a thing to find out more about his
definitely
book writing skills?
Yeah, and boy, you find that out after about a paragraph. Now, we aren't two to talk, Adam. It's not like our writing skills.
Speak for yourself. My part of the book was awesome.
And it is a bestseller. So that's true. But it's definitely not because of my writing ability. I'll stick with that. I'll speak for myself. KCL says, Adam, I think Trina Kaye, the prosecutor, will call you as a witness. Okay. So KCL has you as
KCL knows way more about this trial than I do. I don't even know who Trina Kaye is, but
she really does.
Apparently she's the prosecutor.
KCL knows more about all of these than we.
She knows more about me than I do. She wrote a really good bio on me. It was amazing.
Good point. Kelly says, what a brilliant podcast tonight, 12:35 p.m. here in the UK. I wonder what podcast she's talking about. Hopefully, but it's 12:35 in the UK where Kelly is, another of our foreign friends. So glad I stayed awake to catch live. Thank you for staying awake and being a part of this.
Thank you, Kelly. Cheerio. Have some tea and trumpets. I mean, what did I say? Crumpets. Crumpets. And play your trumpet while you're drinking your tea and eating your
and there are those little crackers that are called trumpets. You can have some of those.
Right.
Harriet Bass says, Adam Rex, y'all have a good heart. Thank you. And grace towards people. Adam, I hope one day you could get an apology from Lori, but probably won't happen. She needs to apologize to all the family. She needs to apologize to all of us. I agree. All the family, closer to her, the more apologies. But good grief, everyone that has been touched by this, been offended by this, been hurt by this, could use an apology. The other Carrie Ann, good to see you also. I don't think we would see Adam's dimples while Lori questioned him. Yeah, he probably wouldn't be smiling too much.
You don't think there would be any smiling going on at all with that?
He wouldn't be remembering the good times.
I would be stone cold. Who knows? Maybe I snap and break on there if I get up there.
Barbara Brown says, at Silver Lining Podcast, give the guys my best regards. Well, you're doing it here, Barbara. You didn't have to rely on the moderators, but we appreciate what the moderators do. I try to catch their podcasts when they occur, and I always enjoy listening to what they have to say. Thank you for that. That's very kind.
Yeah. And
Darlene, thanks so much, guys. Take care of yourselves. That's a good place to end it. We did have someone ask, Cindy Stovall asked about snow in St. George a few days ago. We didn't get snow where I am. I think there were a few light droppings around town somewhere, but I didn't get it. I have to drive an hour and a half to go up to the ski slopes, which Lisa and I have done 4 times so far this season, and we'll be skiing a lot more. Thanks for asking. And thank all of you for being a part of this incredible community. Adam, you get the last word.
Last word. Oh, you always do this to me, and I never think of what to say.
I know. I thought you'd be prepared.
Let's see. I'm just going to drag this out for like 5 minutes. Let me think of something that can be known for. Hold on a minute. If you like trumpets and crumpets,
Do it now, or I'm going to divulge stuff about you.
I'll just keep going like this until you like click the off button in the middle of my thought. Have a great week or month, and we'll see you back here next month. How about that?